Okay, so this is my first DIY video. Normally I don't post stuff like this because I kind of like to be a lone wolf, but it seems like you guys post a lot in the forum and help me out a lot, so I'm going to post my experience. I think I took a kind of an unconventional route. People have probably considered doing this, but maybe are afraid to, so I went ahead and took the leap of faith and tried to figure it out myself with a lot of your guys' help on the forum. So what I have is a 2007 Jeep Commander Overland with the 5.7 Hemi. I'm running brand new 265 7017 Duratracs. I bought them last night. I was running 255 75 17s, which is the Rubicon size, and both of those tires were rubbing. If you look at tire specs, you can tell that the 265 70s are actually smaller in diameter, but 0.4 inches wider. You can do all the conversions online, but really what I want to show you guys is the pinch weld that I actually cut off. I know a lot of people take a Sawzall and do little pizza cutter style things and then just hammer it in. I thought that was kind of exposing yourself to a risk of rust because the paint must crack on both the outside and the inside. I've seen videos of people on Tacomas that do it, but what my experience with this painted underbody is that there was no way to take a sledgehammer, even if it was a dead blow hammer, and make it so the paint didn't crack on the folded side. So what I've done, I know people are gonna hoot and holler about this, but I actually cut the entire pinch weld off with, I started with a Dremel, and then I finished her off with a Sawzall. I took probably 12 inches off or something like that. This side wasn't rubbing as bad, but I know that when I go wheeling, it's gonna kind of rub when it's under flex. So what I want to show you guys, because I know people are curious, is what does it look like in between that pinch weld. So this will give you the ability to decide yourself if you feel like you're losing some structural stability by cutting the pinch weld. And you can see where the two pieces of steel are butted together with that kind of insulating foam material inside. I'll try to show you. This is kind of what it looks like. It's just foam. It's definitely to seal water out. It's not very hard, so I don't think that offers a lot of structural stability. Here's the piece I cut off. This had about 5 spot welds on it, if it'll focus. So that's the piece I cut out. This is the more successful side, I'd say. I already did the other side last night. What I did was I actually sealed it with epoxy resin. I haven't done that on this side yet, but what I did is I took a green pen, I traced it out kind of like what you guys said online. I actually traced it with the Dremel at first because I found that on my original side, the Sawzall was kind of wallering around a lot, and I would get into a bad situation where I didn't have enough working space with all this trim and stuff. You can tell I've taken the fender away. I didn't really have a good angle on it, and so the Sawzall would start taking a dive towards the inner side of the body, and I wasn't a fan of that because I really didn't want to open up this big flat piece of steel. So what I did is I left about 1 centimeter of the pinch weld. Sorry, my camera work is so terrible, that's why I don't post these videos. But I just want you guys to be able to see what's in there and then decide for yourself if you want to take the risk of cutting that pinch weld off. I think that sealing it with epoxy resin is a really good job, and what I did after that, I let it cure over the night, and then I actually came out with some like Flex Seal tape style stuff, and I ran it all along the pinch weld. I'll show you guys what that looks like once I'm done with it, but it really, I really thought it was a good fit and finish. Another tip that I used, there's some AC lines back here, maybe some coolant lines for the heater core and stuff. I wrapped some paper cardboard around it, and then I actually took a shoebox. If you can see that, I took a shoebox and stuffed it kind of on the other side of the pinch weld. That way the Sawzall didn't ram into, I'm sorry, my camera work is so bad. The Sawzall, the end of the Sawzall didn't run into the other side of the paint, because on the other side I found that to be a problem. It was running into the other side of the paint and really opening up some scarred tissue, if you will, on the other side of the pinch weld. And my main focus was to open as little surfaces to rust as possible, so I had to seal less, paint less. I actually didn't end up painting, even though I considered it. I just used epoxy resin and then some Flex Seal. This is going to be covered up. by, you know, the whole fender liner. And you can see this is, I took the fender liner away. I took the fender flare away, and I kind of dropped down this little side skirt thing. I'll try to show you the other side with the Flex Seal. It's all kind of buttoned up right now, but I actually patched it with Flex Seal right here because it was rubbing so bad that it actually went through the fender liner. But as you can see, I definitely have a lot more space. Obviously it's jacked up right now, but so this is the kind of first video. I wanted you guys to be able to see what's under that pinch weld and decide for yourself if you wanted to take the risk of just cutting it off. Because I think being able to properly seal it from rust is probably a better idea than folding it over and chopping it apart with the Sawzall, having all these lines and stuff. So that was kind of the method I decided to go with, and hopefully it works out.